The first time she told me she was going to turn my land into a parking lot, I honestly thought it was a joke. But when I saw the survey crew step onto my field without permission, I realized something real fast. This woman wasn't joking, and she had absolutely no idea who she was dealing with. Before I get into what happened next, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Karen's Stories Daily, because stories like this only get crazier as they go on, and trust me, you don't want to miss how this one ends. It was a hot July morning when she showed up. Karen, the self-appointed queen of the Willow Creek HOA, stood right at the edge of my property like she owned the place. She had this thick binder in her hands, holding it like it gave her authority, and two guys behind her with surveying tools, like they were already planning something. She pointed straight at my blueberry field and said in this confident voice, "That didn't match reality. This entire section is going to be converted into overflow parking for our upcoming community." EVNTI just stared at her for a second, thinking maybe I misunderstood. But no, she kept talking like it was already decided. She said their residents needed more space, and my land was underused anyway. That word stuck with me. Underused. That field wasn't just dirt. My grandfather planted those bushes decades ago. I spent years turning it into a certified organic farm. Every inch of that soil mattered. And this woman was standing there talking about covering it with gravel for a party. I stepped closer to the fence and told her calmly that she was trespassing and needed to leave immediately. She didn't move. Instead, she flipped open her binder and started quoting some outdated county rule like it gave her power over my land. She said they had the right to take underutilized agricultural property for community use. That's when I knew exactly what I was dealing with. Not someone who understood the law, but someone who thought confidence could replace it. I told her straight, my land is private, it's protected, and she had zero authority here. I gave her 1 minute to leave before I called the sheriff. For a second, I saw doubt in her face. Just a second. Then it was gone. She smiled and said they were moving forward anyway, and that construction would begin on Monday. Then she walked away like she had already won. I stood there for a long time after she left. Not angry, not panicking, just thinking. Because people like her rely on fear. They expect you to fold quickly. But I don't do panic. I plan. That same day, I went through every document I had. My land records, zoning papers, and most importantly, my federal organic certification. That certification wasn't just a label. It was protection. Any damage to that soil could trigger serious federal penalties. And suddenly, this wasn't just about a field anymore. She wasn't just picking a fight with me. She was stepping into something much bigger. I made a few calls, confirmed what I already suspected, and found out something even better. The rules she was using to justify all this didn't even apply anymore. It had been replaced years ago. She built her entire plan on something that legally didn't exist. That's when I stopped playing defense. I prepared a formal notice and delivered it directly to her house. Clear, simple, and direct. Stay off my land or face legal consequences. The next morning, she called me furious, said I was overreacting, said my farm didn't matter, called it a hobby. I let her talk. Then I told her one thing. If anyone touches that soil, it becomes a federal issue. That's when her tone changed. Just a little, but enough. Still, she didn't back down. Instead, her lawyers got involved. They sent letters full of legal language trying to pressure me into giving in. They even tried to fine me for harassment because I delivered that. Notice. At that point, I realized something. This wasn't just about me. She had been doing this to others. So I started digging. And sure enough, there were dozens of complaints from people in that neighborhood. Fines for small things, threats, pressure tactics. She ruled that HOA like it was her personal kingdom. That's when I connected with someone inside the community, a lawyer who had already been watching her behavior for a while. We talked, compared notes, and quickly realized she had made a serious mistake. She wasn't just overstepping. She was exposing herself legally. So instead of stopping her, we let her continue. That was the plan. Monday morning came fast. She showed up with a group of residents like it was some kind of celebration. Coffee, smiles, cameras, like they were about to launch something great. Then the machine arrived. A small bulldozer rolled up and stopped right at the edge of my land. I stood there watching, calm, waiting. She gave the order. And the moment that machine crossed onto my property and touched the soil, everything changed. That was all I needed. Within minutes, things started falling apart for her. Authorities got involved, legal action started immediately, and suddenly, that confident smile she had disappeared. What she thought was a simple project turned into a serious legal situation, and the people who had been cheering her on just minutes earlier started realizing exactly what was happening. The energy shifted fast. No more celebration, just silence, because now it wasn't about parking anymore. It was about consequences. Over the next few days, everything came crashing down: investigations, legal pressure, and backlash from her own community. People were angry, not just about what she tried to do to me, but about everything she had been doing for years. And this time, they didn't stay quiet. Meetings were called, questions were asked, and for the first time, she didn't have control anymore. In the end, she lost her position. The board was replaced, and the same people who once supported her turned against her. As for my land, it stayed exactly where it belonged: untouched, protected, and respected. Because at the end of the day, this wasn't just about property. It was about knowing your rights. It was about standing your ground. And it was about reminding people that just because someone acts like they're in charge doesn't mean they actually are. If you made it this far, drop a comment and tell me what you would have done in this situation. And don't forget to share this story with someone who loves crazy HOA drama. For more stories like this, stay tuned to Karen's Stories Daily.